We are now in session. So what's up, everybody? Today we are here with David Bouttavong. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But before we get into that, let's give a little quick shout out to Still Here Podcast with Jose. Because we were there with him a couple weeks ago and we had a great time. And also Magic Stick, Jennifer Champa, for sending us those amazing incense.
Appreciate that,
Appreciate
Jennifer.
that very much. And also, thank you, listeners, for helping us get into 1,000 on Instagram. We finally hit 1,000 followers. My
1,000,
God,
baby.
I never realized how hard that's gonna be, dude.
Yeah, it's hard work.
And then also, we also have 1.9 million views on one of our videos on TikTok.
Yes,
that's crazy.
You haven't added us on TikTok? Make sure you follow us on TikTok as well,
and YouTube. That is slowly growing, but without you guys, we're not gonna be up there. So. We need that help.
Yep. Appreciate that.
So let's now bring it back to our special guest, David Bouttavong.
David Bouttavong, man. Welcome to the session, man. Sabadi.
Finally made it.
Thank you for being here, man.
So let's tell the audience a little bit about who you are.
Let's see. Who am I?
No, before that.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the question of the day is if you were a fruit, what kind of fruit would you be?
Oh, okay. We're going to start off with that instead of ending with that.
Yeah. We're going to start
off with that.
If I were a fruit, what fruit would I be?
Yeah.
What pops in your head the first thing?
A mango.
I knew it. See?
That's just the first thing that popped up. It's probably because it's the one I eat the most.
That's a third mango.
It's the third mango.
Third mango.
You guys need to get on the ball, bro.
Right.
That's
Totally
3
feel
mangoes.
like he's a mango.
He's a mango.
I'm a mango. Yeah.
Mango.
Ripe and juicy or the green one?
It's the Filipino one, the one that's always yellow.
Yellow.
That's the best
the
one.
yellow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not the green one. There's a yellow one.
Yeah, it's smaller, but it tastes the best.
Really?
And it has the
I never
best
had
texture.
that.
Yeah, it's the one that they eat with rice the most.
Really?
I'll get you a box when it's seasoned.
You get them at the Cherry?
My parents can get it for me.
I see.
Also, the one they eat with the rice is the yellow one. It's not the green one that they eat with.
It's better because the texture is more soft and it's more sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh, I never knew that.
It's the Filipino one.
Filipino mangoes. Now you just learn different the hype of mangoes.
Is that the one where the Spanish colonized that too? And then
I don't know, but it's good.
Well, I think one of the kind of just do a quick bio on David. We really wanted to bring David to the podcast to really share a little bit about where he's from, and I think he has a special message for everyone, especially for folks in a different space that we want to highlight today. But we have a lot of questions and storytelling that David will share with everybody. So we're really, really excited for this because this is something special, I think, for us and for the community to hear that it's still kind of unspoken about in the community. And I think David would do a great job at kind of highlighting that space and see what that looks like, okay? So, David, we brought you here, man. And you and I, we go way back on our advocacy day. We're still advocating today. And
we do.
Finally work with each other again. But really wanted to ask you, man, can you just share a little bit to the community about who you are as a loud person? And I'll let you explain the other piece of it, the other title that you have. But can you share a little bit about yourself?
Do you want me to go back into where I was born and all that good
let's
stuff?
lead to that all the way to the
Go as
story.
far back as you want to go.
Yes.
this is an origin story.
Yeah.
All right. Once upon a time. No. Well, my parents are from southern Laos.
Okay.
So they came here in 1981 as refugees. They lived in the camp in Ubon, Thailand, for a while, and that's where they had my. That's where they had my sister, and there was nothing to do there, so they made me there. And then,
In the camp?
Yep, I was conceived in the camp.
They thought about you at the camp, huh?
Yep.
All the other neighbors.
So
Real quick, is it in the tent?
nah, it's not a tent. It's like a wooden little shack.
It's a shack, bro.
You got to shack up in there.
Charles and I were born here, so we don't know. You know?
My sister was born in the camp, in the shack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then when they got news that they had the opportunity to come here,
Right.
my mom was already pregnant with me, and then they came here. They landed in Seattle, and that's where they had me. In 1981, yes, I'm 41.
Nice.
Wow.
So that's a long time ago, four decades ago. They never seen snow before. They never seen a toilet before, or like a stove. So those things were very foreign to them. Like they're like, "What is?"
Did
this?
you guys pick Seattle, or is it something that they picked for you?
I don't know how they got to Seattle, but that's a good question for me to ask them. Like, hey, how did you end up in Seattle and not DC or somewhere else or France, right?
Sure.
And we landed in Seattle, spent maybe a year or two there, and then my parents moved to Bakersfield to be closer to family in California. And then I think when I was about 4 or like 3 or 4, we came to Fresno, and we've been here ever since.
So you don't have memories of like Seattle and Bakersfield?
No, there's pictures, but I don't have memories of Seattle. Only Bakersfield.
Just basically, so Fresno was basically where you grew up. Huh?
Fresno is home. Fresno is where I grew up. My parents had labor jobs. You know, I remember the first job my dad having was like picking grapes with the farmers. And then my mom in Bakersfield, she worked at like this carrot plant. And you know, in the restaurant industry, and then we came over here. I went to Wishawn Elementary, and Hidalgo.
Oh shoot, that hood.
The original Hidalgo, where 168 is, or 180, 180. You know where 180 is?
Yeah.
That's where Hidalgo was.
Yeah, Hidalgo. You're absolutely right.
Wait, so there's a new Hidalgo?
Yeah,
they moved
I did not know
Turner.
that.
Yeah, they moved it by
Before it was where 180 where it crossed.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
right there on Cedar. It
Right
was
next to
there.
Romaine, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
right
Yeah.
to Romaine.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Shit, that's crazy.
And I went to middle school at Tioga, so shout out to who went to Tioga.
Yeah.
And then high school was Duncan, is where I met you, and then Roosevelt. I graduated from Roosevelt.
You went to Duncan?
I went to Duncan and Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
I don't remember you at Duncan.
I was there officially my freshman and sophomore year, and then my last 2 years I spent at Roosevelt.
Oh, okay. So
What
you
class
ended
were
up.
you?
2000.
2000?
Yeah.
Oh, so then we
okay.
should have crossed paths.
We might have.
No.
Oh, because we went in 99.
We went in. We went in 98.
98. Yeah.
He had just left for Roosevelt, so we probably had seen him when he came into like ROP. What was your ROP?
I had hospitality and tourism.
Okay.
And then I forgot what the other one I did was.
Yeah, he had left already. That's why we didn't really see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you would come to the dances, though.
I was gonna say hospitality. You're talking about like, do you guys get put into the like hotels and stuff?
Restaurants.
Yeah, in the industry. We
Yeah.
ended up doing our big trip to Vegas.
Wow.
Okay.
So all this time I should have joined hospitality and we could have gone to
To
Vegas.
Vegas at 16.
It worked for us.
Yay.
And then I went to Fresno City after and did my undergrad at Fresno State in health science. And yeah, I right during that time, I happened to volunteer at Planned Parenthood. I wrote a paper and I learned a lot. And it was very interesting about, you know, how funding works and healthcare and things like that and rights. And that's how I ended up at Planned Parenthood was there. I went to, well, what can I do? Right. And that's kind of where like my service, my nonprofit, like kind of career started was there, just volunteering there. And then eventually becoming part of their outreach staff and then their education staff.
So did you kind of just fell into the career?
I kind of just did. I wrote a paper about comprehensive sex education, and during that time, I think it was 2000, 2001, or around there, or maybe 2002. You know, I guess reproductive rights were kind of under fire as well. Maybe not to the point where it was recently, but definitely that's kind of what inspired me to get my foot in the door there. And then eventually I became staff, and did a lot of education and outreach in the community with young people, young fathers, young men, incarcerated individuals, at juvenile hall, and just working extensively with youth and young men at the time, because there was a lot of people not a lot of people, but I was in the field of reproductive health and also that whole teen pregnancy prevention kind of umbrella. And the other portion of, like, I guess people getting pregnant is, it takes two people, right? And then we were focused on the male identified folks, because they're part of it. They're a huge part of that.
Totally.
And they kind of sometimes get neglected. And then eventually, I spent 8 years there. I kind of feel like I got a good solid foundation and unorthodox education at Planned Parenthood in the community, doing work. And then an opportunity came up at this one place called Fresno Barrios Unidos, which basically means Fresno United Neighborhoods in Southeast Fresno. It was across from my old high school, Roosevelt. So kind of, in the community, again, I started working with young men and healing. And also they also had a reproductive health focus, the organization itself, right? It had that kind of lens. So it was just a perfect fit for me. So I ended up working extensively a lot with young men and boys of color, and healing and trauma-informed practices. And also, again, in the other half was spent in reproductive health, sex education, helping. We supported a bill, and it actually passed and became law. So now, since 2016, in California, all middle schools and high schools are required to have comprehensive sex education.
We didn't have that before, huh?
No, it became law. Now it's in 2016.
Wait,
There
we
was
did
sex-
have sex ed.
There's sex
That was like
ed.
freshman.
They didn't have to have it back in the day.
Yeah.
Now they're mandated.
Mandated to do it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Go back to the Planned Parenthood.
okay.
I remember. I share a story. I remember driving through Planned Parenthood, and I always seen David. Right. I always see David either walking to work or leaving in his car. Right. And I always ask myself, David, why? I was like, why are these people protesting? Right. Did that bother you guys the whole time when these guys are protesting right in front of your doorstep and making all these noise and shouting and all that? How did you guys feel about that?
For the most part, no. I think you just get used to it.
Yeah.
There are situations where it becomes like a safety kind of deal when you talk about clients entering the building and that if they're kind of in their face or in their way, that's kind of where it becomes an issue. Other than that, we kind of are used to it. It's really more about protecting the patients and their rights and making sure that that when they are going in, and they could be going in for anything, right? I could be going there for whatever it is, but to have to be harassed and photographed, that's just not right. So you get used to it, and then you just learn to really kind of deal with it. We were trained to deal with it as well. So I just got used to it. It bothers me, but I get used to it.
Yeah.
It's the fanatical folks that are a bigger issue.
Yeah. Well, now I want to know why Lucky is driving through Planned Parenthood all the time. How often are you going to visit this place?
Well, no, this Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is located right there by Tower District.
It is.
And then sometimes I would go have lunch over there, but then I always see David. Like, what's up, David? And
You would go have lunch in the hood.
no, by Planned Parenthood. Tower District.
Well, I didn't know Planned Parenthood had food for you guys.
No, it was down the street. So every time I would drive by, I was like, damn, David's right
Wait,
here.
so you were getting the food and going to Planned Parenthood?
No, I wasn't going to Planned.
Was it like free condoms or Plan B?
I wasn't doing that.
Cause that's what I was thinking. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood, that's free condoms.
I mean, if that's what you guys need,
Yeah.
Free condoms.
it's fine.
Because those Trojans are expensive.
Yeah, they are,
Oh,
man.
Mr. Trojan Man.
Well, I can't
Got a
afford that
shaved
one.
head now, Mr. Trojan Man now.
I get the free one. Is it Lifestyle or
Lifestyle now.
Was it Lifestyle,
that's
right?
the thin-
There's
that's
a
the
lot
thin
of
one.
brands.
Oh.
It just depends on who they're contracted with at the time.
Charles, I don't know about lifestyle in 4 minutes, bro.
You get the ribbed one.
Hey, I get whatever is free.
Hey, speaking of that, let's go back, dude. Let's go take it back.
What do you want to know? I used to
want
teach
to
sex
know.
ed.
Hey, does the condom do it flavor? Do people actually use the flavor condoms?
Yeah, they use the flavor one.
Some do, and some just want it for fun, right?
Right.
But it's supposed to be used for protection. And it's flavored because it's the idea of putting your mouth on something latex isn't that sexy, right?
Yeah, right.
It might have like a weird taste, so they flavored it so when people want to use it and be protected when they're having oral sex, that's what it's intended for. Is that?
So they have the.
I was gonna say, so the people that work at Planned Parenthood, have anybody ever just
Why
opened
your voice just went up like a couple of octaves?
because I got a little excited. I
got excited when you said flavor.
You say flavor.
No, so the people that work there, have anybody ever popped one open and just like start chewing on it like gum?
So I worked in education.
Yeah.
We also had peers. So these folks are educating people. We're educating people out in the community, and we're telling them about this. So internally, people might explore or just like, just take it out of the wrapper and just like and taste it. I mean, that's how some of us really were able to say, okay, this one tastes like mint, or this one tastes like strawberry, or this one does not match at all. So yeah, I mean, we did some of that, but it's so that we can tell other people what it's really like,
Right.
without having to, go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did stuff like that.
Charles is getting a little happy right now.
The little kid in me is coming out.
It was all for educational purposes,
Yeah.
and I think people really found that kind of impactful because there's always going to be someone who's like, well, how do you know? Things like that.
Oh, they ask that dumb questions, huh?
Well,
They're not dumb. They're just, I think it's a natural curiosity.
Oh, yeah.
And they're young and curious.
Wow. So let's go to the meat ingredient of all this, right, David?
Yeah. We went on a tangent.
I heard this story many years ago, and when I was thinking about like having the first open gay person on our show, right, and to really disclose that, being loud, right? It's so hard to tell our parents this. I know some of our viewers are probably watching too, like someone that does want to come out. Maybe times are different now, right? We're more open about it. But I want you to share your story of how you told your parents that you were gay. Like, what was that moment like? I know you shared it with me, but I love for you to share it with the audience too.
Okay, so how did this one really revolves around my mom.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a little background and backstory to at that time in my life. It was like 2016. It was around Valentine's Day. I was going through a breakup. I was with them for, at that time, I think almost 7 years.
Wow,
That's a long time.
So, going through that, and then I wanted to move out. I was still at home. I know at 34, don't get me on that.
But that's normal.
Yeah,
Like
that's normal.
In our culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our culture,
So,
that's normal. Yeah.
Wanting to have my own space and all that stuff. That was going through my head, and also I knew that I was going to be traveling a lot that month, like in and out of Vegas. In and out of Vegas for work. Also, DC. So it was a lot on my plate.
Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I got to, go to the White House. So that was fun. But all this happening at the same time, and you're just like, I just wanted to have my own space and just live on my own. And so it just one night, it was a Sunday. It was February 15th.
Wow.
The Grammys were on.
Wow.
It was the year that Kanye got kind of drunk and like went up.
Taylor Swift?
Yes, it was at the
That year.
Grammys.
Yeah.
It wasn't the VMAs, but it was the Grammys.
Yeah.
And my mom was in the kitchen, and I said, when you're done with what you're doing, can you come to my room?
How fast was your heart pounding? Were you
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, this whole time sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This whole time your parents didn't know you were gay?
I don't know. I never asked.
Okay.
I never asked.
I'm pretty sure they had some kind
They
of.
might,
No,
but they might.
Go back to
yeah.
mom come into my room after you finish.
Yeah, after you're finished with what you're doing in the
Yeah.
kitchen. And she did. I was on my bed and I asked her to have a seat. I was trying to see how best I can explain it so she can understand it.
Sure.
Did she speak English or no?
She speaks some English.
Some English. Oh, I got
So this whole conversation is in Laos.
It was both.
both.
Okay.
Like Lao and English. I told her that I started in a weird way. I told her that vision of her the vision of me actually at that whole wedding vision, right?
Sure,
when your
sure.
son's getting married.
Sure.
I go, that's not going to happen. And this is why. I told her I was just like, I don't like women. I think because she would understand it that way.
Yeah.
I told her in English and in Lao.
So say Laos. I would love to hear it. Say Laos. No, the audience want to hear it too. It just might be pretty interesting to hear in Laos.
I think I said, mẹ khỏe bộ mặt mình nhìn.
Oh, okay. Straightforward.
Yeah, like
Matt,
like
quite
like,
well,
you were
Matt,
black, like
you
so
were
she
black about it.
understands, you know.
Yeah.
And so she's not like, oh, okay. And I told her it's like just because of like stereotypes and I think in our culture with like lady boys in Thailand and stuff like that. I go. I don't want to be a woman. I like who I am. And I'm fine with my body parts. I just I'm not gonna marry a woman, and because I'm gay, you know.
Yeah.
And I think she understood it better that way. I think I said I'm sorry, even though I didn't need to, but I didn't.
Yeah,
sure,
you don't really
sure.
know what to say in the moment. And we held hands actually.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
No way.
Yeah, we were holding hands, and I said, I just don't want to bring upon like anything negative to you or dad or our family. And she said, don't worry about what people have to say. Live your life and be happy.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, and we kind of, we were holding hands, and she cried and I cried.
Wow. That's a
So it was
touching
emotional.
moment.
It's a
Yeah,
lot,
it was.
a lot of
It was.
all that feeling just lifted off, huh?
It felt like a cloud. Like I finally let her know, and she didn't freak out or anything like that. She just was just regular. We kind of just carried on, and she had more of an issue when I said I was moving out.
Wow.
She didn't have an issue with me coming out, but moving out, she's like, "Why you want to move out for?" Stuff like that.
In the Buddhist culture, they don't really frown upon that stuff. They make, because in the Buddhist religion, right? They don't talk about the orientation like that.
No.
They accept you for you, and you see it all over Southeast Asia. It's okay, it's not there. But I know when I grew up, my parents will make fun of me, like if anything like that, right? But even if you were or not, they say it's okay. I still accept you.
Yeah.
But I think it's acceptance in our culture is a big part of it.
And it's just also like not seeing a lot of maybe myself in public or in settings. Really, kind of like you're always looking for that person that looks like you, and we go into a room, we look for an Asian person,
Yeah.
and then if it's an Asian person, we look for a Lao person, and then naturally with me, same thing, looking for someone who looks like me, who also identifies like me was very important, especially in the work that I did when we talk about social justice and that kind of work. It wasn't really. I didn't see a lot of Asian people doing it the last 20 years. At least when I was like in there doing it, right? And I would always look for Asian people, queer Asian people, Lao people, queer Lao people. I'm happy to say like I found a lot of them now, but it was harder as like a 20-something year old and even like in my early 30s, going all up and down California, or even nationally as well.
Really?
But now, definitely, you see a lot more visibility, which is nice.
Do you think that the American culture is harder on it versus growing up in our culture? I mean, because the two culture kind of clash, right? So is there a difference between the culture?
I think so. I feel like within our culture, speaking of like Lao culture, like family is just inherently important. Not to say that it's not in the American way, but like we don't leave each other, like those kinds of things. I'm sure you guys understand. It's like you don't leave anybody like behind, or you help everybody out, and no one's you don't leave your people.
You don't leave your blood.
This is just like nursing home stuff. We don't leave. We don't do that. People are at home.
We take our family in.
Yeah, it's very different. That's kind of what I mean.
So how long do you held that secret in before you built up the courage to go tell your mom?
34 years.
Wow.
Wait, so you've known since you were a kid?
You know something is different, and you don't know what it is until you are probably like, for me, it was until I was a like early teenager, maybe 12, 13, 14, around there.
Yeah.
That's when you kind of figure out, oh, I don't like what all the other boys that I know like.
Yeah.
That's, your hormones kick in by that time.
Yeah.
That's how I knew. But you do know something's different as a kid.
Did you hang out with a lot of like young girls when you were growing up, or were you the guy that played basketball and?
I did not. I tried to,
Sports and
shoot
stuff.
hoops. I had one of those things that I had my parents buy. You try, right? Because that's what every other Lao male kid that I knew had.
That's what society said.
Yeah.
So
Like,
that was normal.
Yeah. Of course, I got to get a weight set.
Yeah.
But I did do other. I went with my dad to like, Ka Ngua.
Oh, shit.
Like,
Yeah.
to the
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse.
On Saturdays.
Yeah.
And then also like, when they would need like ducks and chickens. And,
Yeah.
you got to help your
So
dad.
you saw.
I
the
did it. I'm
slaughterhouse.
like, my
You
dad's
did it?
like, hold
Hurry up,
the duck.
hold the nose, hold the nose.
The duck is big and
Yeah.
strong, so it's
Yeah.
like shaking him like a kid, like holding on. So I did all the traditional male things, right, with my dad. But yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't too different
How did they
for
kill
me.
the cow?
Oh, they gotta shoot it, dude.
They gotta shoot it
You've
with
never
a
seen
shotgun,
it?
right? I've
What?
never seen it
Dude,
happen.
they just shoot in the head.
I seen the pig. I seen the pig, but I've never seen the cow.
I thought they like shocked the cow.
Growing up,
They used to do
the
that,
cows were shot in the head. Sorry, audience.
Like with a gun, or
Yes, and then pigs were shocked.
yeah, they were shot
and then
or
they're
stabbed,
and then their throats cut.
yeah,
throats cut.
You still do that now?
Yeah, they still do that. now.
David does. Does he still do that? now?
I can. Do I really want to? No, but I can still. I'm very comfortable hanging out with the boys or the girls.
Yeah.
Having to do that all my life. And I think that's pretty cool because, I could do that now.
Yeah.
Still.
Did you gut it too? Like you gut it and all that stuff too? Or you
no.
just help pull the gut out?
At the most was like maybe with the ducks and the chickens, I might have dipped them and plucked their feathers, but yeah.
When they gut the cows, like, have you seen them just eat it there while they're gutting them? No, there's people that do that.
Yes.
Really?
They do
Yeah,
that?
they do that.
Not a lot of
I've
it,
never
but they. But yes, I've seen it because it's a lot to clean up too.
So
Yeah.
it's the fresh of the fresh. Then
Like they cut open the stomach
Yeah.
and the bile or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then they get the raw meat and then
Yeah.
they dip it in there and they eat it just
Oh,
straight.
because it's fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just took it as like this is part of growing up being a Lao boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure girls did it too, and
Yeah.
everybody in between. But that's like some good memories with my dad. Is that
I went one time to the slaughterhouse for the pig, and I seen the way they did it. I never went back. Yeah, they stabbed.
You had to
the
pull it
neck.
by the ear all the way to the
No,
fence.
because they take the pig
Yeah,
and
they keep
they
it- yeah.
they
On the conveyor
charter
belt?
them, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, they lock him in. They shock him.
Yep.
Yeah, with prongs.
Yeah, with the prong, and you hear the pig go. Oh,
Yeah.
like oh shoot.
It's
And they roll into the thing to cut their skin,
yeah,
the hair.
and they put on the thing and they stab it,
Yeah.
let it bleed to death.
Yeah.
We were kids. I was a kid. I was looking like, oh my god,
We all experienced that.
I haven't.
You haven't, Charles?
You haven't
Yeah,
experienced that?
Oh,
No,
man.
my mom's like a hardcore Buddhist. Like we don't kill anything.
Can't kill. Yeah, your moms don't kill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So are you saying this is a field trip that we need to go on?
No, I'm good.
This is a
dude.
session or what? Live?
I'm a
Live?
vegetarian right now.
Dang.
You're so cute.
You were when you were eating that rib earlier.
Yeah. David, you enjoy that pig.
But let me bring it back real quick because you said that you came out to your mom like at 34.
Mm-hmm.
When did you came out to yourself like accepted like, hey, I am gay? At what age? Because I mean, at 12 you kind of knew.
At what age did I really recognize and kind of own it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, own it. That's a better word.
Yeah.
You know, when did you own it?
I want to say like 21 or 22.
Oh,
21, 22. Yeah.
I mean, going back to like working at Planned Parenthood, where like it was such a safe and nurturing environment and a solid foundation. Like I really felt like I was able to be myself there with
Yeah.
everybody and their life experiences, and their access to like resources that they had. So I would say around 21 or 22 is when I was like, okay, this is probably what I am,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
And you just accept that. And then, you know, people were really affirming and things like that. Oh, that's one thing. Like I told my mom too, I go, no one's throwing rocks at me.
Yeah.
You know, people celebrate, me for being me.
Yeah.
All my friends' parents knew, you know,
Yeah.
and they were accepting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I also like was telling her things like that too, and I also told her I was in a relationship. Sorry, so that kind of like I think maybe made her
Eased the
feel
blow,
at
huh?
ease.
Yeah.
Because you know the last thing I think she was thinking about is like not the last thing, but she was just probably thinking like, oh, like it can harm me and things like that. No,
She's
I've been
worried about
fine.
you.
Yeah, been fine at work and things like that. Yeah, she was totally fine with it.
I think it's more like if you're happy, I'm happy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
As a parent, you're like, okay, as long as you're happy, I'm happy.
Not just that, like being safe. Like she's worried about society accepting him.
That's true too.
Because like what happened if your friends, you know, find out and then they go, you know what, we can't be friends no more.
That's
Especially
true,
the
too.
guys. Like girls, I could see it more accepting, but like some guys they're homophobic.
Yeah.
That's true. But luckily, a lot of my friends a lot of my Lao friends happen
Yeah.
to be, you know, women. So I'm always around their husbands and partners, and everyone's been fine.
Yeah.
I don't really get a lot of flack, nor should I, right? For
Right.
No, you
just
shouldn't.
being
For just being you,
myself.
right?
Yeah. I think also we're at a point where we are peers,
Yes.
and they have children, and their children might be, you know, LGBTQ.
Right.
So I think some of them got like a different kind of realization of like, okay, like, you know, we have to support the community
Yeah.
more, or they ask more questions, and I'm always happy to talk to any parent or any young person who may be struggling, because we have so much resources nowadays.
Yep.
Growing up, we had less,
Yes.
right? And it was also, I feel like, more taboo,
Yeah, of course.
and now it's more
It's more accepting today.
yeah, because people talk about it. People ask questions. People learn about each other. I think it comes down to people just not knowing each other well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Accepting
think there's
each
a
other.
lot more workshops now too, and really educating even in the school sector too, besides the nonprofit sector. But what about your dad? What about that macho loud dad in the house? When did you come out to him?
I don't think I ever said any. I don't remember saying anything to him.
Oh,
But I did introduce him to like someone I dated, and he didn't.
He didn't act surprised.
No, I think he knew who that person was.
wait, you brought a boy home?
Not home, but
Well,
they were like
introduced.
there.
Okay, they were there.
Yeah, they met
This
my
is
dad.
the first boyfriend that you were with for that 8 years, or is this one before?
7. It was him. My dad met him, so,
so you
I think
was
my
a-
dad knew.
So you was a playboy back then, huh? So
he didn't-
You had a lot of boys then.
Oh damn!
I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out if I told him directly or not.
I
Or
think
does-
that's how.
you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't remember
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, Dad, I'm gay."
Right.
More like my style is more like, "Hey, Dad, this is like someone I'm dating."
Right.
Instead of just telling him like I am gay, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is someone I'm dating."
What was his reaction? What did he?
He didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything.
No, because
Okay.
he always will talk to anybody.
Yeah, sure.
No matter if it's someone I'm dating or just like a platonic friend I
Sure, sure.
bring over, like he will talk to them. That's just how his personality is.
I mean, your mom could have been the one who told him, and he was be like,
Yeah.
"I already knew."
I know.
That's how Asian dads
Maybe.
are, though, man. You know,
yeah,
they just
yeah.
out of sight, out of mind, or they
Yeah.
knew that that's it, accept it, and that's it.
Yeah, I think what helps is like other people in the community that I've been around, whether it's friends or peers, and sometimes they don't know exactly what I'm doing, but with just being on the board of like the Lao American community of Fresno, and being involved in that, they'll see me do stuff, so they know like I am doing something, I guess, good, and
Yeah.
that no one's harming me,
Yeah.
and things like that. I'm accepted generally in our community,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of what they see.
Yeah.
I definitely do know like my cousin has spoke to them before, and she's she's an older cousin, so I think that makes them feel at ease too
Yeah.
Damn.
about what I do.
The challenges you face, man, it seems bigger than what it is, or is it just mainly like in someone's head that when they face the issues are coming out, or
I think there's always that fear of like being rejected. That's what it is.
Oh, I see.
And I give so much credit to the young people I've worked with, especially those who identify as LGBTQ, and they were able to just be themselves at 13, 14, 15, whatever age it was I worked with them. And I always saw that, and I was like, dang, like, look at them. They can do that. And I'm like in my 20s or 30s and still not able to say that to my parents or something. So they really inspired me a lot. And also not seeing enough of me, and just thinking about like that little kid, right? That I was just looking for just someone to say it, someone to do it,
Or someone to save you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it really takes, I think, one Lao kid it might be sitting there, but like, I don't know anybody. I have never met anybody, things like that, and just wanting them to know like, there's a bunch of us out here.
Yeah.
Man, you became the pioneer.
I don't,
right?
I don't know about
For
that.
our culture, like you became the pioneer, and you started down and started helping a bunch of people for nonprofit. You went from Planned Parenthood to LACCF, and you're on a lot of boards, man. And is this something that's pretty near and dear to your heart, that you're out there and advocating for many people and doing the Lao community justice? Are you, trying to get us on the map, or what's your ammo to go out there and do what you do?
I think just knowing that we are always underrepresented and I don't want to say undervalued, that sounds bad, but we're not in the spaces that we should be in, where we should be shining. I think we're at the cusp of it.
Yes.
But I want to see more. Even our data doesn't really show us existing as much as we should. Getting us the services that we need, especially when it comes to language, holding on to our culture is important. Yes, I want to do. I think it's important to kind of support other people in their journey and their craft and things like that. When it comes to like all these folks on social media, their food, their content, being here, but also even with a few years ago trying to get Laotian history passed in California. That was, a huge fight.
AB
13, I don't know.
1307 or something. Yeah, we were part
It
of it.
was something I forgot.
Some numbers.
We would AB something. We were with
Yeah.
So do we even have a Laos history book to teach these younger kids?
I don't know. What I struggle to find is Lao history written by a Lao person.
Yeah.
There's some out there, but just not enough. And I do think you see more now, the last few years, of people taking upon themselves to write like children's books or little fairy tales or folklore, right? That we know about, and using that to kind of tell our story or keep our culture alive.
Yeah.
I really learned a lot about our history on our own, just like with Lao organizations. There's a couple out there, but one that I followed for a long time was, I think, Legacies of War.
Legacies of War, Lana.
Right.
Lana too.
Shoot, I don't even know what those are.
Well, speaking of that, the Lao committee that was supposed to form that bill, and I was in conversations before, they were supposed to have a committee of older OGs from different groups of Lao, because Laos have a lot of ethnic groups. So you have Khmu, Mien, all that. So it's supposed to have this committee to form that bill and send it off to the senator or the governor to say, hey, this is the instructional piece that we're supposed to teach some of our Lao kids and Hmong kids in the school sector, in public school settings, But I don't know how far they got along with that. But they were supposed to agree and vote on it, But just what kind of David was trying to share.
I hope it returns into some, in some way, shape, or form, and hopefully we can learn from last time and really, I think, organize and get something like that passed, because we were on the cusp of it, and for some reason or another it just didn't go through. I think it's really important for people and our neighbors to know why we're here, right? And I think it's possible. I would like to see more young people involved in the process. What was cool was a lot of the OGs I saw in Sacramento knocking on assembly members' doors, senators' doors, and all that. I wish that there was equal amount of young people. That would have been really, really dope. But I think if they came around again, we would probably be pretty successful. Yeah,
we would mobilize a young group.
Yeah. It's still possible.
So is there be a big field trip from the Laos community here in Fresno to go up to Sacramento to do any kind of petition or lobbying?
Not that I hear of, or it just has to be opportunity, right? If there's a bill that comes around that way, that's like that, then yes, there could be. I feel like there's a good enough group. Fresno, there was a lot of Fresno folks that went up last time, which was really good. And then there's a group of Sacramento folks, and then some SoCal people. But we're all just like regular people, right? And we have day jobs. That's what's hard about it. It's just like going in the middle of the day. But if something were to come around, I think we can mobilize, because I think we're on to something.
Hey Dave, I wanted to ask you, let's go back to the gay. Being all gay. Right?
Go back to the gay.
You mentioned about you being gay back, early 2000, but were there other gay Lao men in that space that we don't know about? Was it a time where people were coming out, or was more just for you, or did you notice any change in that community?
Back in the day, I think we just, I didn't have as many friends. I was really, really shy and more sheltered. So
you're shy? You're not shy no more.
I still am.
David has shy moments,
but
moments.
At that time, that's kind of what my experience was. I knew there was others out there, but also growing up at my age, we didn't have cell phones, and all that stuff. So it was harder to probably even network and things like that. I think nowadays it's more easier where you have social media and you can find your niche or your group of people, and that's what I've been able to do as a older adult was that is I could connect with someone in like I don't know Ohio or Washington or things like that. Like cool, we found, like I said, easier to find
Your tribe.
queer Lao people,
Yeah.
right?
So there's a group, or do you guys have a group? Like
a
a
Facebook
collective?
group?
Like a collective?
We do not, but
Okay.
They're not that I know of. I don't.
Okay.
But I think there are people within those groups
Yeah, sure.
who identify kind of the same way or have similar ways of thinking that that you kind of are drawn naturally to.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm not alone. There's some, let's say someone lives in like what's a small town around here? I don't know, Madeira.
Merced.
Yeah.
Merced.
Merced.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Merced. There's a lot of like
Squaw Valley.
Okay.
Squaw
Selma.
Valley.
Yeah.
Selma, right?
Selma.
How are they ever gonna find another, gay Lao person
Gay Lao person.
unless
Yeah,
they go
yeah.
social media or something like that? So it's much easier now, but back then
It was harder.
I didn't. It was just like kept to myself more.
So are you attracted? Are you attracted to gay Lao men or others? Hispanic, African American. I just want to ask you. Hey, people watching, they want to know too.
What the heck this guy asking me, man?
I am an equal opportunist.
Okay.
So you can be straight.
Yeah.
No, no.
No. The reason why I asked it because I asked a lot of gay guys this question, and I always
do?
ask them. They always are open about it. Like, no, Lucky, I have a preference. I only date this type of
Yeah,
men.
and
So, do you have a preference?
I do not have a preference.
Okay. Good.
People
good.
might say I do, but I think it goes both ways.
both ways.
Okay.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't have a preference.
That's like this, man. It's like you only ask the girl out if she likes you. Why are you gonna ask the girl out if she doesn't like you? The answer is no.
No.
Yeah,
I ask them all the time.
No,
No, wait.
I don't go out and be like, okay, I'm gonna find me an Asian guy, or I'm find me a.
That's what I'm
Mexican
saying.
guy.
No, there's some guys that have preference.
Yeah, there are some
I
people who will do that,
understand,
but
I'm saying.
but I don't have like
Yeah.
that on my
preference.
no.
Yeah.
So I also hear like some gay guys, they try to look for straight guys and to turn them. Do you know a lot of those type of guys?
In all honesty,
God damn, you guys put him on
I-
a spot, man.
no.
This is a podcast.
That is a
It's an interview.
good. That is a good question.
Yeah, it's an interview, bro.
And some people do.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I this is my take on it. I feel like to them it's like that forbidden fruit in a way. And yeah, and that's what some people do. I obviously I don't really care. Not that I don't care like that, but
Yeah.
but it's not my thing.
I've never seen a guy try to turn a straight guy gay.
This is like so,
I don't think it's about turning.
Yeah, he's already gay already. Then he's gonna go that route.
I think that person is already open to
That's
that
what I'm saying.
experience.
He's already open.
I don't know, but like I
They-
think
they
it's
might
more
be
of a
curious.
chase.
Yeah.
It's more of a chase for these guys where they go, hey, you know what? He's claiming to be straight. Let me see if I could turn on, like
Well,
do
does that
stuff.
mean he's already there? If he's
Yeah,
gonna go
that's
that
why.
route.
That's how I.
No, but the guy that's being pursued don't know that, he is. But the guy that's pursuing,
give
he
it- that means he's gay.
That's
Yeah.
my
He's going
take.
that route already.
My take
could
is
just be bi-curious.
my take is they're open to that experience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they're
you
not
just
so,
want to taste the rainbow, you know.
So
if
they're
you
not
wanna
so
do it.
straight.
Yeah.
And but that's my take. That might not be everybody's take.
So like these different names, like growing up, people that are not familiar with the gay community, they have these different connotations, these words, these different meaningful bully words. Like, what word did you hate the most that you ever heard?
Oh gosh.
Calling a gay person.
I mean, it's the F word, man. When someone says fag or faggot, it
Yeah.
just. I mean, it's even hard for me to say,
Right.
because those were things that were used to,
It's derogatory.
verbally like abuse us. It's,
Yeah.
And to try to bring us down. So that's kind of the only word I really cringe when I hear some people still say it. I just ask them to use another word. I don't mind queer because queer just means different if you look it up in the dictionary. So I'm like, okay, I'm queer. So
Well, it in part of the LGBTQ, isn't that Q? What's the Q?
The Q is queer or questioning.
Or questioning.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain to the audience what does LGBTQ mean? What does it stand for?
It's an acronym. So L is lesbian, G is gay, B is bi or bisexual. What's next? T is trans or transgender. And then Q is queer or questioning. And now you'll see like more often now is a plus.
Yeah.
What's the plus mean?
It's just the plus is like everything else.
Oh, I see.
Non-binary.
Yeah, it's everything.
So they didn't get a letter.
Because it's gonna be a long acronym.
Because everybody keeps
So-
like, oh, I identify as this now.
Right.
But I remember when we were kids, like, even though we're like, you know, just hanging out friends and none of us are gay, but we'll call each other like,
bad.
oh, gay or the F word, you know, like, does that offend you when people joke around, not intending to, like, you know, insult any gay people?
When the straight guys
yeah,
joke
we're
around.
just, you know, saying things to each other.
Like with banter.
Yeah.
Only, I mean, I kind of expect that, but I only like when, if people mean to say like that's stupid, and they use like, you know,
That's gay.
that's gay. I'm like, that's inappropriate because it doesn't really go. You know,
Yeah.
you're using it in a different way that's like not good because you're trying to say it's stupid, but then you use gay. So it's like, is gay stupid? You know. So only like those things, and but other than that, like guys are always gonna be guys. I've always been around, like I said, guys growing up. My family members. So I grown accustomed to it and was used to it. But if anyone says anything inappropriate, then I usually just would let them know. It's better now. I think, like I said, we know, right? We lived
Yeah.
a little bit of life.
Yeah.
Some of us have children, and then some of their children they might be, you know, on the spectrum, right?
Right.
So they watch themselves more.
You know, I have a couple of gay friends that we banter like that, right? And I would say those words to them, and you know, it's all fun and game. They would say it too. But when I hear somebody else call them that, I get offended.
Yeah.
You know,
Someone that
because
you don't know.
Yeah, the one that I don't know,
No,
and
yeah.
they would talk bad about my gay friends and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
bro, I would get offended, you know. But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it's between us or the friends and this and that, you know, like, you know, it depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
You know, but
You might have to find a new word then.
yeah,
You know?
and you know, when I hear that from other people, I do get offended. You know, like, wait a minute, you know, that's my people. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you can't say that. You know?
Sure, for sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
me, I guess.
when, especially when we were younger, I remember, like, we always, like, if we don't like something, we're like, oh, man, that's gay.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, growing up, using it all the time, sometimes it's just stuck with your vocabulary.
The way that you grew up. Yeah.
So, like, there's time where, like, I'll catch myself saying things that I shouldn't say, not just with gay, with other
Yeah.
stuff, too. And I'm like, oh, man, I need to cut that part out of my life just because it really does affect other people's life in a certain way. And when growing up, those words are just words. Like, you know, we call each other B or C, all those other bad words.
Yeah.
And like now, sometimes you still catch yourself saying, oh, man,
Yeah.
that's just, you know, gay or whatever. And like when you see somebody doing an innocent mistake like that, does that offend you, or do you just like let it slide?
It depends on who it is and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I might let them know, hey, can we use another word? That's
Yeah.
it. And that's all. I don't think it's more effective to just let them know
Yeah.
in a nice way than just jump on people, because
not intentional.
you have to meet people where they're at.
Yeah,
That's something
yeah.
that they might have known and always used their whole life.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, let's not use that, because when I was growing up, people just use that to attack me. I think that's more effective than saying, hey,
Yeah.
don't freaking use that word, you know, blowing up. Like when people know that and they know like that could be harmful to you or another person, I think they're more likely to correct that, right?
You come from an educator standpoint, man. You seem understanding when you're moving
Yeah.
around the world, and you know, you kind of understand where people their background, and could you deal with a lot of the nonprofit? Do you deal a lot with like the refugees that come over and trying to adapt and assimilate to the American culture?
Not as much now, but every so often, I do. It's more of like the children of the refugees. Now, which is us, right? But every now and then, because right now I work at the Poverello House, so working with people who are unhoused and experiencing homelessness. I didn't expect to see a group of Lao people, but I did one time.
Oh, wow.
At the canal, and it just like kind of it made me really sad, because it was people who looked like our parents that came to this country only to live at the freaking canal, like it was Laos or
Refugees.
worse.
Wow.
They had like a huat and stuff, like the blanket and the sod, and it was just, we were doing a big move and clean up there.
They had the sticky rice motor and everything.
Yeah, so that was hard to see, because they looked like my dad and my uncle, right?
Yeah.
But what was cool is when we were doing that move, I had let them know. I was like, yo, we have a bunch of Lao people here, Hmong people, one or two Cambodian. We usually do like hash browns and like, American stuff.
Yeah.
This time,
Culture
because
foods.
I let my folks know, our chief of operations, our CEO was there, program directors were there, just before we did the cleanup, like maybe a couple days. They kind of listened, and they one of them went to the Hmong store and bought like a bunch of sausages, and they learned
That's
how
awesome.
to steam some veggies. I think it was spinach. Made some Jao Maclin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
This is a white man, y'all.
Yeah.
And
So it's John.
and they did rice, and it was good. They ate it. And I was like, how is it that morning when they started serving? And they said it was good. So that was nice that, it really, it was heartbreaking, but seeing that really made my day. And I was like, maybe I am at the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are in your calling, right?
So that's like, I know I recently saw another person too. I worked with them for a couple months, and right before Christmas, that was I was able to get them and their partner into shelter, but it took a while. But he was a Lao man, and I tried to talk to him and his partner every day, and he would say like, in Lao, like, soigan bangkan, and he's older, so yeah, we finally got to shelter him before
Christmas.
That was my goal.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta get them some kopiak and shelter them.
I think they're still there today.
Yeah, they're still
yeah,
there.
that's
definitely-
awesome, man.
Definitely know that family.
So
who
we
we're talking
do, yeah, there are Lao people who are homeless
about. Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so much work that you've done, David. Like, man,
It's 2 decades, dude.
yeah.
I'm old.
And I remember meeting David, man. And then I started working in the sector, and I met him. I was like, dude, you catch up, and you've done a lot of great work, man, in so many different areas of the nonprofit sector and social services and the underserved community. Going back to like your off time, your social life, when you go out to these different clubs, especially some of the gay clubs around town, right? Is there like a group of Lao men that you see? Because right now I could count about 10 Lao person with my fingers right now, 10 of them. But when you guys go out, do you guys see each other and be like, hey, let's hang out, let's connect
Yeah.
and all that?
Yeah,
You guys
we
are
do,
pretty close too?
Because it is, the Lao community itself, I think, is small.
Yeah.
But the gay community itself is small.
Smaller.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when you put those like factors together, like like, okay, those are the people who are exactly like me.
Right.
And I think some of us have really good, strong relationships with each other, and is able to support each other in personally or professionally. and also if like we need that extra help or talk, we can always or support. Yeah, we can lean on each other.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what's good about also technology nowadays. With can't do anything on beepers.
Right. This ain't a dumb question, okay? This is my last question. I'll let the guys answer too.
We're running up on time, so that should be your last question then.
Okay, my question to you is like, when y'all date, right? I don't know a lot about the gay guys, the community, as far as liking other men. But is there a masculine side and a feminine side of the gay guys? Like, are you more of the one that will go out to ask another dude
I know
to go out? Because I've seen some. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I think that kind of fluctuated.
Okay.
And it still does. It depends on, I think, my interest, their interest,
Sure.
or our attraction. With everyone, it's been a little bit different. But I will say the majority of the time, if I'm really into someone, and I'm already shy, right?
Yeah.
If I'm like asking someone like out or for their number, like that's a big step right there already.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of go from there. It might not be any different from anything else. I think it's just getting out of your comfort zone or your shell. So just depends on who it is, really.
Okay. So guys do clash then.
What do you mean?
What I mean, like, do you ever find a guy that had your same personality? You're like, man, I may not get along with this guy. Or with someone you say, hey, man, he's a little more outspoken than I am.
He's actually asking about energy, which I'm pretty impressed, because he's asking about the masculine, feminine energy and how it clashes with each other. Who takes the lead, right?
Well, is that in the community itself, right?
What?
In the gay community?
Like
There's maybe
who takes the lead?
Yeah, I've seen a guy that's more girly, right?
More feminine?
More feminine, and he's
right.
dating a person that's more masculine. So, and on your side, do you take the lead? Like, do you take the lead to?
I don't think so. I don't know. I want to say I'm in the middle.
Middle? Okay.
But I'm not the most masculine person. I'm not the most femme.
Yeah.
I think there's something in the middle, and that's fine. I think as long as the other person is willing to accept that about you, that's totally fine. Sure. Because there are people who want someone who might be a little bit more on the femme side, and vice versa, or in between. Yeah. And like for instance, I might not go for someone who might wear like a ton of makeup. Sure. That might not be my cup of tea, but maybe. That's just like I think an attraction thing, right? Yeah. But for others, that's totally fine. And even when you talk about like nails and earrings, like those things are really interesting because now they're not so like nail art is not like a feminine kind of thing anymore. Yeah. Because even straight men have nail art. Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
I see that.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
That's a whole nother
topic. You thought it was just an earring, huh?
Yeah.
No, there are men who go and get their nails done.
What's one earring?
Nothing.
Wait, no.
Not that I know of.
That's back in when we were kids.
Yeah, okay. We just made it up, bro.
I've been hearing that. You wear it on your right or left. No. I'm like, what? Who said that?
What I was going to say was...
An earring is an earring.
Okay.
That's what it is to me.
I was going to say, there's also like, what you call it? The bear community. Or bear lover. Or bear admirers.
Bear?
Yeah.
Bear?
The bear.
So people who are kind of like husky and beefy and hairy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The bear
like the Bounty Man.
Okay.
What was that guy's name on the Bounty commercial?
The Bounty Man?
The Brawny Man.
Brawny, yeah.
There are subcultures in the gay community, and bears are one of them.
Ah, so it's a bigger world than what we see.
And then like a little bear is like a cub. And then like someone who's hella skinny that looks like a stick. I hate to say that, but those are twinks.
Wow.
Damn it, I'm a twink.
Hey, grow some beard. You'll be
Yeah, there are a lot of subcultures
One last
in the gay
question.
culture.
Hey, I never knew that because I thought it was just that, but now that you explain it, wow, there's different
there's a-
subculture and it branches out. Into
That's what the
different
plus
ones,
sign is for.
I
There's
never knew that,
quite a
man.
bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. That's another show.
That's another show.
Because this
Part
question
two, man.
I've been wanting to ask, because in one of our sessions we talked about guys and girls can't be friends, right? Can two gay guys be friends where there's no
Animosity?
or sexual tension?
Oh,
or
sexual
sexual
tension.
tension.
Yes, I have quite a few that I'm not attracted to, but they're good looking individuals. But we're just not like that.
Yeah,
you know. And then there's people who I may be still friends with that I have had a relationship or other things with.
But you still remain friends.
Yeah, but we're still friends. So it's possible.
Oh wow.
It's the polarity that we were talking about, right? Like it's hard. Is it hard to maintain that? Like, you know, if you have that relationship already, is it kind of hard, or is it just like
You mean like a friendship already?
Yeah, like-
friendship already? Yeah.
How can you stay friends with your ex?
Oh, that one's. It really depends on how it ended and where you both are in your life. Because I also know that when people move on, they don't want people. They don't want their ex. They don't want that person they're dating talking to their ex.
Yeah.
In any kind of way. And some people are okay with that. Some people aren't.
Yeah.
So that's that factor. But for the most part, I am cordial with most of the people I've dated. There might be one or two, but you know, you can't just be cordial.
You can't win them all.
You can't win them all.
Yeah, you can't.
So
win them
I
all.
try to be because, you know, we only live once, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see you again, even though I might not want to. You know, I'll be like, hi, hope you're doing good.
You only get that moment once. You never get that moment twice.
Yeah, I try to be the bigger person, even though like there's tension. Be like, hi, hope you're well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my last question.
All right, guys, we are coming back. You know, we're finishing up. So, David, do you have any last word? Not last word, but do you have any advice for the
Final
kids?
thoughts.
Final thoughts that are coming up that is in your shoe that want to do better and help the community. Anything you want to leave to the next generation that's coming up?
Yeah, find someone who is doing what you want to do and connect with them. Whatever that is.
Nice,
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
Mentor or just like your tribe?
In general, like if like there's someone like that, there's something that you want to do and you meet someone in that field or know of them, if you can't make the connection, ask someone else to make the connection,
Nice. All right, guys. That's the last word is find the people that's gonna help get you there to where you need to get to. So we want to thank Dave for coming on, sharing his
Come
story,
try, brother. Come
his
try.
struggles. Don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and our YouTube.
Spotify, Apple Music.
Spotify, Apple
all of it.
Music, all of it. We want to thank everybody once again. We hit the 1,000 mark. Thank you so much for everybody that's been with us since the beginning. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We love you guys.
Peace out. See ya.
All right, thank you.